The Sahara Desert is a sea of golden dunes where the scorching sun illuminates the harsh and unforgiving landscape. Despite the challenges, life finds a way to thrive in this unique environment. From the ruins of Timbuktu to the ancient pyramids of Egypt, the Sahara holds a wealth of cultural and historical treasures waiting to be discovered. This is a place of beauty, mystery, and resilience.
It's very unlikely that you have not heard about the hottest and third largest desert in the world, the Sahara Desert, located in the African subcontinent, covering an area of 9,200,000 square kilometers. The desert stretches from North Africa, the Atlas Mountains, to the Nile Valley in Egypt and Sudan. Sahara consists of about 31% of Africa, an area that is almost comparable to the entire US or China. However, under the sand dunes, stone plateau, and dissecting mountains of the Sahara, there lives a history of hundreds of thousands of years. It may be surprising to hear, but this desert has alternated between the sterile desert and savanna grassland. Scientists have made some terrifying discoveries and are still discovering as their tools ameliorate. So hang on with us as we will show you some world-changing and surprising findings hidden underneath the Sahara Desert. Would you believe if we claim that as little as 11,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert was covered with grassland better than that of the Amazon forest, receiving plenty of rainfall? 6,000 years ago, this piece of land was full of grasslands, trees, lakes, animals, and people. It was not until the last ice age ended that Sahara was transformed into dry valleys, gravel plains, and sand dunes. Scientists have discovered how humidity in Sahara abruptly came to an end and how summertime insolation decreased. How it became the most uninhabitable place after the existence of hippos, antelopes, and elephants who feasted on its thriving grasses and shrubs. But how did this all happen? For this, let's understand something interesting about orbital precession. The fluctuation in the tilt of the Earth's orbital axis changed from about 24.1 degrees to 23.5 degrees. This change in tilt led to the northern hemisphere being the closest to the sun during winters. However, during the period of Green Sahara about 8,000 years ago, the northern hemisphere was closest to the sun during summers. This previous position of Earth was the reason for the increase in solar radiation to the northern hemisphere and intensified seasonal monsoon. As a result of this monsoon and moisture, the formerly sandy Sahara was turned into a steppe covered in grass and shrubs. Humans who flourished eventually domesticated animals like goats and buffalo and even developed an early system of symbolic art in the area. However, as the position of Earth altered, the monsoons decreased and the vegetation started to disappear. Rain gradually reduced as soon as there were no plants to store water and release it back into the sky. The following plant-climate feedback cycle eventually led to the current desert conditions. The most interesting fact that also fascinates climate scientists about the Green Sahara is how abruptly it took a shift of 360 degrees in just 200 years. Even though the change in solar radiation was gradual, this change in landscape is one of the most significant examples of abrupt climate changes in the history of humans. But the question that may also pop up in your mind is, can the Green Sahara ever return? The answer is an absolute yes. This is because the Earth constantly changes its orbital position and repeats the pattern every 23,000 years. Nevertheless, due to the increase in greenhouse gas emissions by humans that has changed the climate of the entire globe, nobody can predict when Sahara will see its green period back. But stick with us. We are not done yet. What about finding fish in the middle of this hot desert? It may sound impossible, but scientists found a fossil of dead fish in the Sahara. But what does this disclosure tell us about the history of this piece of land, and how can a fish end up there? Well, we just previously discussed the green period of the Sahara. This fertilized period attracted groups of people that left their trail of food to hold the history of the Sahara Desert. Scientists discovered these fossils in the Takarkore rock shelter region of southwestern Libya. And with that, it was found that the human diet transitioned mostly from fish-based to terrestrial animals like sheep and cattle. The researchers found that catfish and tilapia made about 90% of the findings from the first few years, but around 5,000 years back, only 40% of them were fish bones and the majority belonged to mammals. The bones of animals were observed to have traces of burns and cuts, indicating they were cooked and eaten by humans. Interestingly, previous research has also shown that about 6,400 years ago, these hunter-gatherers of Takarkore shelter were replaced by people who were into agricultural practices. The evidence indicates that these new residents cultivated weed-like cereal grasses and maintained cattle shelters to allow sheep to cope better. Some experts also suggest that this livestock farming may have played a role in worsening the condition of the Green Sahara from fertilized land to the barren desert. Some critics also suggest that the transition of the Green Sahara back to the desert was inevitable. However, no matter what the story is, the research suggests that human interaction did play a role in returning back to sterile sand. The discoveries do not end here. Scientists found a meteorite in the Erdchek region of the Sahara Desert known as Erdchek 002 or EC002. This meteorite landed in the Sahara in 2021 and is believed to be an artifact from a chondritic protoplanet which is 4,566 billion years old and is believed to be the oldest volcanic rock on Earth. The team behind this discovery is led by Jean-Alex Barrett of Université de Bretagne Occidentale, France, and they believe this meteorite was part of the group recovered in May 2020 near southern Algeria. These rocks have the appearance of beige and coarse-grained tan mixed with yellow-green and yellow-brown crystals, which means they are composed of molten rock or magma. Rocks like EC002 are from the early solar system days, and most of the rocks from this period have become part of other bodies that evolved into other planets or asteroids. EC002 is classified as a chondrite meteorite, a meteorite that has not been modified by either melting or differentiation of the parent body. It is believed to have come from the partly molten magma in its parent body's crust and is rich in silica, while most magma is rich in iron. Today, we have no such meteorites comparable to EC002, indicating how unique this discovery is. Last but not least, you may have heard about the formation of the famous Stonehenge. However, the Sahara Desert also holds its intriguing mystery of stone formation. Under the little exploration of the Western Sahara, the archaeologists discovered hundreds of different stones dating back thousands of years. The structures come in all shapes and sizes, and archaeologists are not sure when they were created and what their purpose is. All of these stones are designed in various ways. Some are shaped as crescents, some form circles, and others are rectangular. Some of the rocks piled up to form a heap-like structure, and others use different combinations of designs. One such example is a structure that has a mix of straight lines and circles and is about 630 meters long in height. A little exploration has been done on these structures, but few of the explored ones are tumuli or heaps of rocks that contain human burials dating back around 1,500 years. Even though archaeologists are unsure about the purpose of most of these stones, they said that some of them may mark the location of graves. With that said, the scientists and researchers hope to continue gathering more data about this interesting piece of land. For example, the soil and burial mounds samples might provide more evidence about how people lived there, what they ate, and predict what is to come. But what they have found and studied so far already points to some interesting discoveries under the Sahara Desert and how people adapt to the changing world. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. See you in the next video.